Well, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Howdy, everybody.
Hump Day here at Queer News Tonight.
I hate that reference.
Glen Weinzimer's with us from Smart Ride and Bona Italian Grill. And
good to be here.
Just heard the great news that you're being recognized by Equality Florida for your Give Back Mondays program. That's awesome.
I want to recognize him for his amazing veal parm, but
and bring some of the fundraising to Miami Beach.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Faye Watzer's with us tonight, and David Hopkins, and Miami Beach Commissioner Michael Gongora.
Yes.
Tonight.
Yes, good
I've just done a super interesting interview with him on the referendum about 2 a.m. finally.
Oh, that's going to be good.
A lot. We're going to explore lots of things here on Queer News Tonight. Well, welcome to Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening news. It's time to queer up the news. It's 8 p.m. Wednesday, October 20th, 21, and today is International Pronouns Day. He. We are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we are going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
She, her, hers. Thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens, you will see it. Queer News Tonight is supported by viewers like you. We are part of the partnership between Happening Out Television Network and Hotspots Magazine. Hotspots is celebrating 36 years of the LGBTQ plus experience. We bring you the best of LGBTQ plus news, entertainment, and support of our community.
I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Al Ferguson. Let's welcome anchor Faye. What? She is a radio and television personality and has a popular blog and YouTube channel aiming to unite the L and the G together. She's a hostess and an MC for many South Florida events, including the upcoming Halloween party, an animal advocate and owner of Faye's Fur Family, and is the anchor of the travel news show, Happening Out Travel. Also, make sure you catch the Faye What Show. I wonder what that's about, by the way. That's Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Good evening, Faye.
Good evening, everyone. I have the tightest Spanx on right now because I'm trying to lose some weight for the gala on Saturday. So if I run out of breath, don't worry. Everything's okay.
Red carpet together. It's going to be fun.
We are.
We're going to be there. That'll be great.
So next up, let's welcome anchor Glen Weinzimer, founder of the Smart Ride, the largest AIDS bicycle ride in the country, and the only one of its size to donate 100% of the funds raised to AIDS services organizations. He also owns Bona Italian Restaurant, where they celebrate Give Back Mondays, offering a portion of all sales to a different charity each week. And their lasagna is delicious. Don't get me started on those garlic rolls. Ooh, I took some home and I put them all over my... Good evening, Glenn.
You meant to say under your eyes because it's good for wrinkles.
Good evening,
that's
Glenn.
why your skin looks so good.
Thank you.
Thank you. And not only are we winning that award, so thank you so much, Al, for mentioning that, but 30 days from now, we will be in Miami starting the Smart Ride 18. Yeah. So, yeah, right now we've got about 700,000.
You are getting so old.
That's what you got from that now? That's what you got?
You're always older than me, no matter how much you say that. So
Smart Ride's going to be great.
It is.
$1 million. $1 million.
$1 million, that's what we're shooting for.
Yeah.
Let's welcome anchor David Hopkins. David is known in South Florida for his charity work, especially that within the leather community. He is also part of the production team here at the Happening Out Television Network, helping to bring your favorite shows to life. Good evening, David.
Hey, everybody. So if you watch the shows regularly and you see mistakes in the stories, it's probably my fault. Let's welcome anchor Michael Gongora. Serving his third non-consecutive term as Miami Beach Commissioner, he sits on the board of directors for the Council Towers, providing affordable housing for our elderly residents and expanding senior low-income food programs. He has a particular emphasis on the municipal support of education, as healthy communities result from a first-class educational system. Good evening, Michael.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I hope that you all are easy on me because I'm making my debut on this show tonight.
I wrote all the stories.
We love virgins.
Wonderful. Well, we are the reporters for Queer News Tonight. And this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse, Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points for queer news for today, Wednesday, October 20th.
Well, we begin by queering up trans rights. Dr. Rachel Levine comes to Queer News tonight and sworn in as the nation's first 4-star transgender officer. Dr. Rachel Levine is once again making history, becoming the first openly transgender 4-star officer to serve in any of the country's 8 uniformed services. During a ceremony yesterday, Levine was sworn in as an Admiral, the highest-ranking official of the U.S. Public Health Service Commissioned Corps. Levine's appointment to the USPHS Commissioned Corps also made her the organization's first female 4-star Admiral. Stay tuned, as Queer News Tonight will soon be bringing you an exclusive interview with Admiral Dr. Rachel Levine. Doesn't that sound good?
This is so huge.
Amazing.
And it's normalizing what has not been normal, and it's just fantastic that anybody can do anything, and it doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is or your gender identity. I think it's wonderful.
I love it. When I first got elected 15 years ago, they thought that me being gay was a big deal. It's shocking that I was the first openly gay Hispanic elected in Florida. Now you have people, transgendered people, getting these wonderful, wonderful appointments. Our community's really come a long way, and we have a long way to go.
All these conservatives who like to dead name her are going to keep doing so now she's a 4-star Admiral.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past them, but I'm really proud of her, and I think this is just beautiful. But let's talk about this interview that you're going to have with her. Can I meet her? Can you guys take a picture and switch glasses?
It's taken
No?
3.
No.
Please, back off.
Okay.
It's taken 3 months to organize it. We're very excited because there's so many, clearly, so many issues. History in the appointment of her being the first ever Senate-confirmed cabinet member for the transgender community. So many things that we're going to talk about in the news here. And you know, one of the things that's amazing about this story, which I really, really love, actually the reason why we lead tonight's news with it, this is October 20th, right? Mm-hmm. Where were we 1 year ago on October 20th? Oh, yes, let's remember. We were dealing with trans being thrown out of the military. Mm. We were no recognition by the Department of Defense. We were using the Justice Department to take away health care in the military for anyone that related to it. And now 1 year later, we have a cabinet member that is trans and someone that becomes the first woman ever in 4-star Admiral status. What a difference a year makes.
Mm-hmm. Yay, President Biden.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Next, let's queer up entertainment. The new trailer with Unrecognizable Oscar winner playing Lucille Ball. Watch this.
Earlier this week, it was announced that in an
I am the biggest asset in the portfolio of the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Quiet, please.
The biggest asset in the portfolio of Philip Morris Tobacco Westinghouse.
Roll sound. Let's do our show.
I get paid a fortune to do exactly what I love doing.
They got their money's worth. Pictures up.
I work side by side with my husband, who is genuinely impressed by me. And all I have to do to keep it is kill for 36 weeks in a row.
Okay, let's go.
And then do it again the next year. You know, I did this show so Desi and I could be together.
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the show.
And action.
I had no idea it was going to be a hit.
Amazon just dropped the first trailer for Being the Ricardos, its new biopic of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz that will be released on Amazon Prime December 10th. Ball and Arnaz, of course, became the first couple of television courtesy of I Love Lucy, arguably the greatest sitcom in the history of the medium. The show originally debuted in 1951 and has remained in constant syndication ever since, making it one of the most popular shows in history. Being the Ricardos follows the behind-the-scenes drama between a real-life married couple Arnaz and Ball as they produce the show. Oscar winners Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem star as Ball and Arnaz, with a cast that also includes fellow Oscar alum J.K. Simmons, Aaliyah Shawkat, Clark Gregg, and Tony Hale. Oscar winner Aaron Sorkin writes and directs the film. That face, boys, did you see? It was like, oh my God.
Chopping grapes
Woo.
for 2 seconds. That's all you get.
But that is the kind of like tease that leaves you wanting more. Sometimes they give away the whole movie. This one makes you want to tune in and see, what does she really look like?
Yes, and I wonder if they're going to touch on, like, you know, the fact that she had a pill problem and that Desi Arnaz was the biggest cheater known to man. Like, I hope that they really get into that kind of stuff, you know? Because they have some good drama.
And Lucy is iconic to everyone. Even, you know, younger kids still know, because as it says, it's still in syndication. Everyone knows I Love Lucy. Even people who were, you know, from way before that time, like Al.
Funny, dude. I Love Lucy premiered 70 years ago last month. 70 years ago. An icon in LGBTQ community. If you've ever been to the Sawmill Campground, the largest gay campground in America, the Welcome Center and the store is called Lucy's, and every memorabilia picture you can possibly imagine of Lucille Ball is in it, which is amazing. You know, the most exciting thing that I think about this biopic is, of course, she is going to be awesome, clearly, but it's Aaron Sorkin. West Wing, The News, you know, I mean, he is a genius writer. And I have uber confidence that he has just made this great. I cannot wait to see it.
I think he's amazing. Nicole is one of the best actresses, and she's going to do a great job. I'm super excited. I love Lucy and I love Nicole. Put the two together. It's going to be a great movie.
Lucy was loud too, by the way.
Wow. So, all right, back to me. Next week, we're up South Florida gay news. Slow Burn Live Theater returns to Broward Center. Curtain speeches are a quaint South Florida tradition, usually reserved for thanking sponsors or pleas for support. But on this week, the remarks from Slow Burn Theater's Patrick Fitzwater were clearly emotional as the company prepared to take the stage at the Broward Center again for the first time in 579 days. The effusive artistic director noted the dark days of the pandemic when Slow Burn and nearly every other regional company thought they had given their last performances. He also pointed out that the shared trials brought competitors together, forging friendships that were difficult to maintain during a normal season. Get the full story of how the Slow Burn Theater got through the pandemic and their future plans in the new issue of South Florida Gay News, on stands tomorrow.
Can you imagine, like, you know, you become a family with people that you work with. I sort of consider you family, Al, you know. So, like, you spend more time with these people than you do with your own family, you know. So during a production like this, these people get really tight, and for them not to, like, to use their craft for almost 2 years must have been killer for them.
And it's true, though, that there are so many organizations that just don't have the time in a normal season or just in a normal of everyday life to be able to get together and actually really collaborate. And the fact that during this downtime, they actually, instead of being competitors, became, you know, allies and tried to find their way through this together. And I think you're seeing a lot of that right now, even with Island City Theater and the Foundry, that they're doing productions and working together with their different facilities. And I think it's brilliant that that's one of the positives that comes out of this last year.
Theater's back, baby. Kinky Boots. I'm going to be watching that at the Broward Center soon, too.
You know, we are LGBT, and that means we love theater. Period. The end.
We're very gay.
And my goodness, did anybody just ruffle and cringe when you hear 579 days without them? 579 days without them. I'm very excited because we are uber supporters at Happening Out Television Network and Hotspots for our theater in South Florida, regardless of the kind. And we're participating in a meeting tomorrow at Broward Center on how we can help them come back in marketing in the LGBTQ community.
Get me to acting Kinky Boots. Kinky Boots is coming. I have legs that fit boots. Talk to them.
You know that's a musical, right?
Okay, so no singing for me, but you know what I mean.
Do a walk-on.
I do want you to know, in Miami Beach, we did increase our budget for our cultural organizations and theaters because we want it to come back. It's so important.
So important.
We need to have it in our community.
Absolutely.
Next, Queer Up Health. New clinic by and for transgender people seeks to revolutionize healthcare. The 2015 U.S. Transgender Survey by the National Center for Transgender Equality reported that just 40% of transgender people were out to other healthcare providers. Many providers have also historically struggled to provide the fully comprehensive transgender care. Patients report being misgendered and feeling situations where their providers may not embrace who they are. They don't understand their specific needs. Transgender people have tried to get advice on hormones, surgery expectations, aftercare. They need to look to other organizations and things like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok because providers aren't versed in their medical needs. Since opening its doors in May, Trans Health Northampton has served more than 330 patients throughout New England. The health is focused on reaching patients in the most remote stretches there, where trans-affirming care wasn't previously offered. Trans Health offers a full spectrum of primary and mental health care, checkups, surgery consults, counseling, psychiatry, and even a community center with workshops. The space is the brainchild of trans man Perry Cohen, founder of queer wilderness organization Venture Out, and a longtime LGBTQ+ philanthropist.
You know what got me from the story was just that only 40% of trans folks are out to their healthcare providers. That broke my heart.
Well, also surprising that how good is their exam if their healthcare provider doesn't know that they're trans.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing a full physical and you get your annual, they should be able to know that or ask the questions.
You wonder how much healthcare access they're even trying to get.
Right.
Well, even here in South Florida, some of my chosen family works in healthcare, and they, as part of the community, know about transgender healthcare because they've researched it. A lot of the people they've worked with, doctors and whatnot in the community, don't understand the nuances of the hormones and what they can do to your body as you're transitioning. And so they really need specialists. And even here in South Florida, there's a lot of that lacking. As big as our LGBT community is down here.
You know, and that's the thing that strikes me the most. I think you really hit the big soundbite of this story. Congratulations to this doctor that has created this clinic, and please reach out to South Florida and help us organize something similar, because it's something that is definitely needed here in South Florida. We have among the largest trans communities in America, and we don't have anything like this here.
We did a piece at the restaurant with SunServe where they brought in a lot of local transgenders, but a lot of them don't live in Wilton Manors because they can't afford to live east. They live west of 95, and they're pretty much shut in, and they don't seek the medical care because they don't have the financial means or the resources to do it. And it is very sad to see that, because they can't be their true self in so many ways because of limitations economically and from health services.
Good health care is a right.
It is. No, it's a right, yeah. But let's not forget that in South Florida, we do have some amazing organizations that help our trans community. You know, Ariana Center, we have Trans Social, and they do a SunServe. They do incredible for our trans community. But it's not enough. We need more, a lot more.
Great first step here, though.
Yes.
Next week, Queer Up Gay Culture. Our best response if you're mad about Superman coming out. Comedian Amber Ruffin has some words for anyone bitter about Superman's coming out. Queer News Tonight has reported that John Kent, the son of Clark Kent and Lois Lane, comes out as bisexual and kisses his male love interest in Superman, son of Kal-El #5, on stands November 9th. The groundbreaking moment went viral last week and incited excitement as well as vitriol, especially from conservatives. Dean Cain, the actor who played Clark Kent in the 90s series Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, even called it bandwagoning on Fox and Friends, saying, quote, "I don't think it's bold or brave," end quote. Bitch, please. Watch this.
Earlier this week, it was announced that in an upcoming DC comic, the new Superman will come out as bisexual, and people are losing their shit. We will explore this now in a segment called Bitch Please. Please. Y'all really upset that the new Superman will be bisexual? He is a fictional character. He's not even the original Superman. That's Superman's son. Why can't...
Everyone, bitch please! My favorite part, if a comic book character ruined your childhood was trash!
Bitch, please.
I don't know. I love it. I'm a huge comic book fan, and I loved it. I remember when Marvel Comics had North Star came out. It was the first time I'd seen a gay character in comic books, and I thought it was so cool. I couldn't help wondering when I was listening to Dean Cain's comments, would he feel the same if it were Wonder Woman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I'm the nerd of production, so I push a lot of these video game and comic stories that you see on the show.
It's just
Thank
true.
you, or I'm sorry, whichever way you want to look at it. And comics have always been about the outsider rising up. Mm-hmm. Marvel, the X-Men, were literally based on the civil rights movement of the 60s. And when they came out, that was during the civil rights movement. It was a way to represent it to the white community in media. It's always been about representation, seeing who you are in these characters. So, bitch, please, go sit down.
Yeah, absolutely. And one final thought. First off, I'm really glad David made the decision to run that entire clip. It was a long clip. It was a great clip. And I haven't watched her show, and she's got a new fan. First, you got a new fan. When I posted this, when we ran the original story on the breaking day that this was going to happen at DC, I had literally thousands of engagements in posts in lots of different places, groups, etc. And a very predominant comment came from LGBTQ community, I think, voices that said, "It's not Superman. It's not Superman. It's the son of." And I thought, what difference does this make? DC's Superman brand is embracing the fact that the boy is kissing another boy. You're missing the point, which is exactly what she clearly educated us all on, of all of the criticisms that are taking place over Superman kissing another boy. So, bitch, please.
And that's our queer headlines for today. So let's catch up on the LGBTQ plus news surrounding COVID-19 with our special segment called Quarantine Quickies.
Queer News Tonight has reported on coronavirus on every news broadcast since January 6, 2020. Tonight we report that as of today, more than 3,220,000 LGBTQ plus Americans have contracted COVID-19.
Queer News Tonight remembers the more than 52,000 LGBTQ plus Americans that have died from coronavirus.
But the news is improving because as of today, more than 409 million vaccination doses have been administered in the United States.
Now the CDC is closely monitoring results of the fully vaccinated. The CDC calls it breakthrough infections. As of October 12, 2021, more than 187 million in the United States have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
Of those who have been fully vaccinated, only 24,717 have been hospitalized with serious infections.
The CDC reports that as of October 12, 2021, just 7,178 have died of COVID-19 breakthrough deaths after being fully vaccinated. The COVID-19 vaccines have become a national medical miracle, and Queer News Tonight encourages you to get the vaccine. It's going to allow us to return to normalcy.
Oh, and how I want to return to normalcy. I mean, if everybody would just get vaccinated and get their boosters, we'd be good.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even
go to the theater.
We'd go to the theater, yeah.
And I've lost several people to COVID over the past year, including parts of our team here at Happening Out Television Network. Recently, one of the managers of a local bar who I was very good friends with passed away. He was a breakthrough infection. However, he was also coming off of cancer surgery and chemotherapy. But if the people around him had all been vaccinated, the chances that he would have caught COVID would have been so much lower. Please, for the lives of the people around you, get vaccinated.
Same as Colin Powell that we were talking about before, right? That he also had just come through from cancer and got COVID, and if everybody around him would have been vaccinated, he wouldn't have contracted it.
Yes. We take a moment to discuss the CDC's breakthrough numbers. They only report on it every couple of weeks, but when they do, we report on it. And the reason we report on it is we are LGBTQ, and we believe in science. And these numbers are science. And so all of the people that you watch at our rival anti-LGBTQ network, Fox News, they don't believe in science. But let's repeat the science. 187 million people vaccinated. Of that, only 24,000 were hospitalized. Of 187 million vaccinations, while tragic, 7,100 deaths. That is science. It is a medical miracle. Don't listen to the naysayers. Fox News is deceiving you.
And that's our pandemic news for tonight. Next, we report on our partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. We're broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine in supporting that partnership. Happening Out Television Network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ+ religious live broadcast in the world, as more than 30,000 watch every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Watch this.
Hi everybody, my name is Eddie Marti Kring and I'm your field and community organizer for SAVE, Safeguarding American Values for Everyone, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
Well, we finished tonight's queer news headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus Flash News.
LGBTQ plus Flash News. Surveys show global support for the USA has soared since June when Biden became president. Respect for the United States has skyrocketed around the globe now that former President Donald Trump is out of office. Joe Biden's presidency has restored America's standing in the world in a dramatic manner, according to new polling. While Biden has only been in office for about 6 months, the median approval rating of the U.S. leadership has soared to 49%. This is a number we haven't seen since the beginning of former President Barack Obama's term in office. Trump had a 30% approval rating at the end of his presidency. In almost every country, the approval rating soared by at least 10%. In several European countries, it rebounded by over 40%. The ratings shot up 30% in Canada. The ratings did, however, drop sharply in one country after Trump left office, Russia. It's good to see people, looking up to our president again. And I'm also thrilled personally to see the stock market going up and people doing well.
I think it's interesting in the new Gallup polling that for the first time in history, Gallup found that the only time in history was during the Trump administration that in the world, Russia was more popular than the United States. Only time ever in history.
No one misses Trump, except for maybe that Mr. Pillow guy. Has anybody checked on him?
Yeah, I don't think he's, oh, well.
He's still around.
There's people that want him back, so everyone stay tuned and keep your eye on the ball when it comes to politics.
What's scary, though, is that Trump still has such a high approval rating within our country for those who support him.
Yeah.
And that's what boggles my mind.
Those people and Russia, those are the only two places.
Those Russian pollings, maybe we just need Biden brand vodka and a Biden Tower in Moscow.
And a Biden University.
Yes.
Oh, and a steak. I want a Biden steak.
And that video with the hookers. No, probably not that one.
Probably not. So that's today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show. Is our community important to you?
Then help us by liking and subscribing. Ring the bell for updates. Share this news with your friends and family.
Post this broadcast in the many groups you're a member of. Tonight's stories about our community deserve the attention of your family and friends.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support.
If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these type of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. And that is the passion of Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Glen Weinzimer, David Hopkins, and Miami Beach Commissioner Michael Gongora. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. But before the show ends, We have one final story for you.
Yes, let's queer up entertainment. Meet the director of new film Finlandia at Outshine LGBTQ Film Festival. The Muses of Mexico have long been a mystery to outsiders. These individuals defy the concepts of a binary gender and yet are accepted as part of the traditional culture of the Zapotec people. This year's spotlight film for the Outshine LGBTQ Film Festival, Finlandia, explores this culture in a fantastic tale of romance and expression. Find out more with the director of Finlandia, Horatio Alcala. Watch this.
My accent's
It's fine.
It's going to be as close. Mushis.
Mushes.
Yes. Close. I'm going to. I'll be lucky to get close. Okay. Well, up next, let's welcome writer-director Horatio Alcala. Horatio's new movie, Finlandia, a romance film, will be the centerpiece film for the Outshine Film Festival, presented on October 21st at 7 p.m. at Savor Cinema in downtown Fort Lauderdale. Make sure that you stay for the after party to celebrate the film and the film festival. Finlandia belongs to the genre of magical realism. It has some elements of consistency with documentaries related to its genre. It focuses on the Mushis community, a group of Zapotec people who identify as third gender, and the journey of Marta, a young designer who comes to the region of Oaxaca in order to copy local clothing traditions and styles and bring them back to Europe. The film is romantic, not only in content, but through the vivid colors and cinematography that are offered by the director. Finlandia's content is current and effectual to the issues we are facing today in the LGBTQ community of 2021, and it is absolutely a must-see as the 2021 Outshine Film Festival is being celebrated. Welcome, Horatio, to Queer News Tonight.
Welcome. I'm happy to be in Florida for my first time.
Yes, we're warm, but you're used to being warm. You live in Madrid, and welcome to South Florida, basically your first visit here to Fort Lauderdale. We always joke this is the gayest place on planet Earth.
We're going to see that. We're going to
Yes, exactly. We're going to have some dinner. We're very happy that you're participating in the Outshine Film Festival. It's one of America's best LGBTQ film festivals, and I'm looking forward. I'm going to see Finlandia as it debuts at the festival. Tell us a little bit about the film. It's a tougher concept of the idea of multiple genders through a native culture. So tell us a little about Finlandia.
Well, the film is a journey through the culture of my country, but especially in Oaxaca. Let's say is my point of view of the Mushes, of how I see them. There is many aspects. We can talk about the Mushes, but it's going to take us a series of TV shows to do that. So this film talks about the process of a young kid who is becoming a Mushes and what he has to face to do so. A young Mushe that his father treats her very bad just for being a Mushe, and an older Mushe that actually is like the mother or is the arms of the society and a column of the community. So the film is about culture. Let's say it's a LGBTQ plus issue too.
You're when you say your country, you're actually born in Mexico.
I was born in Mexico.
Yes.
I live in Spain.
Yes, and living in Madrid. Oaxaca is a beautiful city. I have been to Oaxaca and Mexico. Its colonial heritage. Many Americans, we go to the beach, Cancun, Acapulco, Playa del Carmen, Cozumel, but we miss much of the colonial beauty of Mexico. You were influenced by Oaxaca, I imagine, for that reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I discovered the issue of the Mushes, because I didn't know about it, I got very interested. I thought these are stories that must be told, and I found the message of tolerance that the Mushes have for the world, and I decided to go on with this story. So the first step was to fly to Oaxaca. So I went there. We spent some weeks, some time with them, and then we developed the script after the stories we heard from them of things that really happened. Later on, we added or we invented the story of Marta, who really is sent to Oaxaca to steal their designs.
Gender is such a complicated, gender is a complicated issue. And I don't know if you've heard, but we've had Donald Trump in America. So it adds great complication to discussions about sexuality and gender. In this, for the Mushis, explain third gender to us, or this conceptual idea of what they are thinking or represent.
I'm going to explain it in a different way. Well, before the arrival of the Europeans or the Catholics to the Americas, some natives, they had 6 genders, depending on how they felt emotionally. When the Catholics arrived, they say, this cannot happen. You can only have 2 genders, men and women, which means a third gender. It's very difficult to explain in general, even for me or even for the Mushis, because we don't have guidelines that we can take on to describe. How can I really describe third gender? Let's say it's a state of mind. It has nothing to do with sexuality, but it's very related to your community and the acceptance, or how you move around in the community.
In this third gender thought in Oaxaca among the Mushis, how would their acceptance of what we understand as traditional LGBT, how would their acceptance of people who identified as gay or lesbian, would they understand that?
Yeah, they understand that. Is known. Of course, they hear that on TV. Of course, it's in the magazines. Of course, it's in the gossiping of the people. But I don't think they consider so close to it or into it. They have their own identity. There is not only Mushis in this place. Let's remind that Mushis are only located in Juchitán, in this town and small towns around, not all over Oaxaca and not all over Mexico. So they don't need to feel identified with the gay or lesbian or LGBTQ community, because they are like in a bubble, where in this bubble they have Mushis, but they have another gender too. Not only Mushis, those are the Jew, which is women attracted to women.
Well, Finlandia is going to debut at the Outshine Film Festival this week as the Spotlight feature. Let's talk a little bit about what goes into the creation of Finlandia. One of the things that I think is super interesting about a niche film festival like Outshine and LGBTQ filmmakers is over the course of the last nearly 2 years now, we had this little thing called pandemic and COVID-19. Tell us about what your experience of surviving this and trying to be a filmmaker and creating Finlandia, for example. What was that like to try to create an independent feature film and doing it in COVID-19?
Well, in terms of economics, it was a disaster. We had to stop the filming because the pandemic arrived. But during those 7 months that we stopped, let's say when the world stopped, I had the time for myself to rethink the story, to review all what was filmed. And then when we got back to filming, I had a better idea of what to film to finish the movie. Let's say I really have the time to rethink everything. There was a good thing and a bad thing. Of course, for other friends or filmmakers who had the same situation, was not the same because they couldn't finish the film. Let's say it was difficult, but we were lucky we managed to do it.
Did you ever face a moment in the last year and a half, the last 2 years, in the face of what you had to do in Spain, especially? Your first hit wave was before ours in America. Did you ever go, I'm going to give up, I'm going to abandon this project?
No.
never even thought about that.
Never even thought about
Yeah.
it. Since I was a child, when I was 6, I got an HVS camera for weddings, and I was doing short films with my family, using my father and my sisters as actors. We lived in the countryside, and from that moment I decided that I was going to do films. So it has never arrived at the time. I knew it was a tough time, but it was just a matter of surviving and waiting for it.
So just holding on, and you were comfortable in just holding on in terms of
Just holding on.
yeah.
And waiting.
Better in Spain today. LGBT Americans here in South Florida. We are, all of the surveys show that we are among the first people that are going to get back out in the world, gay, LGBT Americans, and Spain will be one of the first places that we look to because it's one of the top destinations for LGBT. Things improving in Spain. Would you encourage people to come?
Yes.
Yeah. And the vaccine is widely...
Well, I think by now 80% of the population in Spain is vaccinated.
Oh, excellent.
Since last Monday, we don't have to use the mask in the street, only in small and public places.
Venues, right.
Everything is working. We have the bars until 3 o'clock in the morning. Restaurants are open. You can sit up to 8 people in a terrace. And things are working on. Let's remember that Spain is part of the European Union, and the European Union is a big machine that is helping each other to work on.
Yeah. Well, I imagine you're going to be doing many film festivals.
Hope so. This is our second.
Yes.
This is our third festival and our first award.
Yes. Excellent. And I can't wait to see it this coming week at the Outshine Film Festival. The film is Finlandia. And the great thing about this film and this spotlight feature is Horatio has come in from Madrid to introduce the film. So you not only get to watch this interesting new feature film,
we can talk about it after.
Yeah, exactly, and you get to talk to the director about it. And I'm looking forward to it because I know many of the subjects here are highly interesting in terms of gender, but it's going to take some digestion to be able to ask even the right questions about the creation of this film. So we wish you all the luck with it. We're getting ready to show you some of our LGBT community. I know Madrid very, very well, lovely. And make sure, remember, if you can't attend the Spotlight Film feature of the Outshine Film Festival in person, which is great, I've been to many of the films this year at Outshine, you can see it digitally, and you can participate in the film digitally. So either way, in person or digital, but you for sure want to see Finlandia coming this week at the Outshine Film Festival. Horatio Alcala, did I pronounce it right?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. Welcome to Queer News Tonight, and a great week here in South Florida.
And see you on Thursday for the screening.
Thank you very much. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure